Look, it's not an LS.
Boo. What is up, everybody? It's Dick. We're here at James's house getting ready to work on the L29 454 yet again. This is going to be the whole assembly video. Hey, there he is. There's the guy. Who are you today, Pat? We got Pat, aka James. He's going to be working a lot, and I'm going to be videoing a lot. I don't know how he feels about it, but that's the plan. I'm going to try to make a decent video for you guys. We've done a lot of the parts identification, but we're just going to go over some little things as we're getting it together. It already is a short block. That's how we left it when we took it apart. So right now it's going to be timing chain, oil pan, etc., 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 until we get to, we're going to try to get to long block.
If we can, if we have enough time.
Try to get to a long block, and then, yeah, that should be the whole idea for this video. And the next video should be probably like engine stand, run stand, engine run. We're going to fire it up before we put it in the car, make sure everything's okay. Real quick before we get started, in this video and the next couple for this L29, we're going to put as many links below as we can to help you guys find parts. James did it his way, and it seemed to work really well, as well so far that we know of. But we're going to throw all those things down there. That way you guys can have some ease of accessibility to get into your L29 build if you are having problems finding parts. Also, I've been putting some Amazon links in my descriptions and a couple other things. You guys have seen it. I do like the affiliate or associate thing, and it's kind of new to me, but I'm trying it out. It's gonna help the channel, and it's gonna help me be able to showcase some cool stuff that I find for you guys, as well as, you know, yeah, I don't know, pretty much I get compensation for it, a small amount, but yeah, if you guys want to support the channel anyway, I don't really do like t-shirt sales for the Dick Ham channel or anything like that, so it's just kind of a cool thing. If there's anything from Amazon you want to see, parts, pieces, tools, yeah, look forward to some more stuff like that I'll be doing. That'll actually be like specific videos. So let's hop into this L29 build and get it finished up.
Sure.
What was that? That was up underneath that shelf?
Yeah.
It's just like Elf on the Shelf, except for it's debris. Who welded these? They did a great job.
Some.
Tack.
Let me get one more can. It's fresh.
You gotta be careful up in here. He was saying there's all kinds of junk. And this was new, wasn't it, James?
Yes.
Just been set around, or?
I tried to use it in the gremlin, but I couldn't get the right. Their pickup didn't work.
This is who we need as a sponsor. SuperTech.
Walmart's finest. You need as a sponsor, Walmart.
Walmart and Amazon pretty much builds half my cars anyway. Pat, what we got? Time chain. Looks clean.
Cleaned it up. Didn't paint it or anything. Just cleaned it up. Cleaned up the top of the pistons. Cleaned out the valley. I did stick the cam in it already, and I put some of the just the engine, the Clevi bearing. You know, like
Engine, those like any of those, like the Engine Pro or any of that stuff.
Thrust plates on, torque the bolts, the two, so she spins a little, kind of gooey with that oil.
That stuff on it, yeah.
Timing chain we're going to go with is out of a Gen 6 crate motor.
Okay.
It's used. but I prefer to use it because the original chain was just super sloppy.
Okay.
And I had it, so I didn't have to buy it. So it was a match set. And Jim has different numbers and different offsets. This says 176. Here's the deal. This came out of the motor. It shows as a 178. But it's a thinner one, and because they're the thickness to compensate for your magnetic pickup on
the crank pickup.
Right.
Okay, yeah, the crankshaft sensor.
So I'm eliminating that because obviously it's not going to be fuel injection or whatever, and going to this. Here's where the problem lies on these motors.
This is, meaning real quick, this is from this set, right? This
Correct.
is from the 176 set.
So this measures out about 550. These two together is like 650,000. So it's like 100,000 difference.
Okay.
If you go to Harmonic balancers, I found a used one that is still pretty good that I want to use to save money. But we did find one and put it in the link. Put it in the link. It's a GM, like a OEM
AC
one
Delco, I think
for
it
a
was.
Vortec, and it was like $89 from Amazon. I might go that route later on. I don't know. I'd rather use this for now. Here's a Gen 6 crate motor off a 454 crate motor, HO crate motor. You can see here, it has this big cutout in here. This has no cutout. This has the indentation for the washer. This does not. They both have holes in the front. I took one of these down to the machine shop, and I took a flex plate, and I took the Gen 6 flex plate and harmonic balancer to the machine shop. I said, hey man, can we spin these up and see what the difference is? It was like 3 grams on the flywheel. No biggie there. But this was like 38 grams, I believe.
Ooh.
Different than this.
Oh, wow.
But if you look at, well, I have the Vortec 454 and the Gremlin. The one that I put on there was an SFI one that says it works on these motors, but a whole range. So it's probably not really true, but I needed something SFI for that, for the future. So anyways, that gear set there is on that motor too, and the problem is that with that harmonic balancer, it pushed it all out about 100 thousandths. Now, this will go in further by 100 thousandths
on this one.
On this one, but I don't know if that 100 thousandths is different for the serpentine setup, or is it? So by eliminating the serpentine setup and putting the regular water pump and brackets and pulleys off like a Gen 4, it might be perfect.
Right.
I guess we'll find out.
And that's stuff you can play with once you have. I
did the same exact thing on the other Vortec motor that went in the grandma car, and I don't remember. I used a short pump on that. I don't remember any difference. But in 100 thousandths, you can shim either way pretty.
I think I do remember you shimming the alternator on grandma a bit. Because then you went to that bigger.
That had the short with the alternator set way the hell out.
Yeah.
So, you have to kind of play. Anyways, so this is a used one I found in my parts stash. We're going to use that. But while the heads are off, we'll go zero. And then I'll make a good line and make sure, because a lot of times these start to rotate off the rubber. And then you'll lose your timing mark. So, you'll start losing power. So we'll validate this mark to the motor, and then we'll make a die grinder or something, a nice line, so if it starts to slip, it's better. Right,
so if it starts to actually slip on this rubber piece, then your timing mark is, because it is keyed, so it is a one-way deal.
But anyways, it cleaned up pretty nice on there.
It looks pretty good shape.
Yeah, it'll do the job. The
usual suspect type gasketing.
Yeah, it's cheap. I actually got it from O'Reilly, but I'm quite sure you can get that off of Amazon or wherever else shop.
I had these covers on Amazon.
Like, I cleaned this one up.
Now I'm just looking for everything on Amazon.
I put the seal in already, so this will be the back, which we'll put in here in a little bit. But for now, you can put the chain on.
Just going straight up, dot to dot?
Yep. Nothing special. Dot, dot.
Yeah, you use like Loctite on them, or?
I will. I'll torque Loctite them in. I Loctited the other ones too. I'm gonna flush it out first. You'll see this one has play, but nothing like what the other one had.
What you got there, red?
Red.
242?
Sticky red. We will torque these to the appropriate.
Usually I just use an impact. Is that not good?
Could probably do that, but
Dang, fancy. I'm just jealous. Those are the beepy beeps.
really expensive.
What's the James pro tip about when you do a engine build and you're doing the the timing chain?
As far as
The pitcher. He's always told me, which was really good advice, is when you have a motor apart and you're building, you take a picture of how you set this up, because later if you have an issue and you're worried about it and you're like, what the fuck did I do? And then you can actually like reference it and be like, yeah, no, that was actually dead nuts what I wanted.
you see this, it has a little bit of slop,
Yeah.
but it's actually way better than the one that was on it.
I remember the one that was on it was pretty slappy. Old slappy.
Look at everything. Make sure everything's happy.
That's nice too. So since you have these dowels, you're pretty much already set up that you're not going to have any issues. Have you had any like oil leak issues, or are you happy with how these ones seal up?
Gen 6s are like the LS stuff, man. They're
Oh,
real
yeah.
nice. It's a one-piece seal.
Is that like a factory one-piece seal, or do you use like an aftermarket one?
I bought a Felpro.
Factory, is it multiple pieces or is it one piece?
No, it's one piece.
Oh, okay. It's just...
It's a Moroso.
Moroso.
Gen 5, Gen 6.
Made in USA.
Oh yeah, it's a nice fit. One thing I do is just recommend is in the corners, we'll put some RTV
All four?
up in each.
Right here.
Yeah,
Any color specific? Gray or black, probably?
whatever you got. This was an oil pump I got used. It's not used, it was new, but it was at a swap meet. Somebody had welded, not the prettiest job, but I think it'll do the job, this Moroso pickup on it. So the pan is about 8 1/4. And it seems like the newer pans have less, like the newer Jegs pans. So you really have to buy their pickup or modify one. Just got lucky, this one fits and is nice.
Did you just clay it or did you just measure?
I clayed it. And then I did have to clearance the back here because it had a wide body on this particular pump. I don't think it's a milling. I don't know if it has the same part number, but right against the cap, the bolt, right there.
Yeah, it's kind of focusing, but you can see basically the basic idea is that it would have hit that. You said that the other ones you've seen have a higher, the casting starts up higher usually.
Yeah.
And then this is a high volume.
It's a M77 HV high volume, so they're like 25% more volume. And when I bought it, somebody had removed the pin and the spring, so I put a pink spring back in it, which is like supposedly up to 70 psi.
And them welds.
Kind of nasty, but I think I'm not too. It's beat in nice and it's bolted on. So, but it did it all the way around.
Yeah, we'll do what it needs to do. You're just checking it again one more time.
Yeah, with it.
Oh, with the gasket on, yes.
So, you get some of the compression out of the gasket.
Oh yeah.
And it'll pull down once it's bolted.
Yeah.
So,
What do you look? What's your ideal?
well, they say 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
You know, or 3/8. So,
Yeah.
I like it.
What do we got?
Got black.
Got black. Yo, I wore my Christmas socks today, man. Do you like them?
Sure.
Scrooge. And get sealant hands the rest of your night.
Ew.
Make sure you don't forget your pocket watch in there.
This is a pretty clean motor for what it is. All right, she's nice and clean.
Yeah.
Bolts are tight.
Got your bung holes.
Bung holes all welded up. Trap doors.
Dun dun dun. Got some bolts. Maybe I'll actually do something.
What are you gonna give away for free on your channel for Christmas?
Oh shit!
That's what your buddy did.
I know, dude.
What
You
was
guys,
it?
wait, hold on. If you guys haven't already, go check out No Name Race Cars on YouTube. I'll post up a little thing. Don't leave this video, but go check him out. He's giving away a long block, a whole long block, which is pretty rad. LS motor. But
I thought you were gonna help.
I'm gonna help. Well, I'm doing stuff. Oh, I got like nose hair too. Anyways, go check out John Kelly and his friend Brian. They built some really rad stuff. He's got that badass Camaro. You watch it? Do you like his channel?
I watched the link you had.
He likes it.
Oh yeah.
You like it? Yeah. Hell yeah. Go check him out. Did you like how I avoided giving anything away for free? I don't know. What should I give away?
Oh.
I could do one of the tools like off Amazon that I'm gonna do for the Christmas gift ideas.
Like one of the $10 ones or $20 ones?
It's like 25 bucks, I think, or less is what I'm doing. Is that okay? Or is that not enough?
I think it's wonderful.
How do I give it away though is always the hard part. Like
Comments.
comments?
Leave a comment on the video.
the best comment or something, but then that's like totally up to me.
That's true.
Do I just have to take that responsibility on?
Just have somebody randomly, or you just randomly take a comment.
I just chucked one of your bolts. The secrets. Yeah. Nothing like a little massage. That's fabricating.
Let's see, we got our.
Little spooge there.
Yep, perfect.
Spooger. Spooger 1. Spooger 2.
All up in the corners, it comes out.
Spooger 3. Mix spooge 4.
I don't RTV on the arches or anything.
There's some people?
I don't know, but in case you want to pull the cover off, or you know, or change a cam, you can still loosen up the bolts enough to get it down without. Only thing you know you'll have is in the corner, which typically will hold that gasket.
So yeah, you still have to get the timing cover off. You still have to hit the oil pan a little bit to let it drop to get it off.
Quite a bit, actually.
Have you done one in a car like that?
Yes, you have to basically loosen them up almost to the back to get enough to drop down.
Oh shit! Is that bright?
Yes.
Sorry. It works really good. The light.
It's like that guy from Valley Racing.
Yeah.
On YouTube. You know, when he goes out to like record, he has a super bright light and he's like blinding everybody.
It just, you know, it's all about the viewer's experience. You know, it's not about our well-being or your eyesight.
I like that guy's videos, man.
What is it? Valley Racing?
Yeah.
Check out Valley Racing.
It's all street racing in LA.
In LA?
Yeah.
Sick.
It's usually all money races, but it's got, yeah, that's really good content. I like it. A lot of talking before the scenes and after the scenes.
You know who my favorite YouTuber is? I don't know if I've ever talked about it on here. My favorite YouTuber, like, period, is Billy at the street racing channel with the S10. You watch him?
Yes, sir.
Dude, gotta be the best in my opinion.
Kind of quiet though.
I like him. He almost reminds me of you. That's probably why I like him, but you probably want him to be louder like me. That's I like that he reminds me of like the atypical like Brian from Fast and the Furious, like doesn't talk much, you know, but like I guess that's more like he kind of talk. You know what I mean though, like the kind of hot rodder, you know. Look at this fancy tool. That's pretty dope. Spin it over, making sure there's nothing wrong with the hitting the oil pan at all, right?
Correct. We're running low.
Run low on the juice? Oh, there's just red, huh? I use the Engine Pro and it's all green. Looks like boogers.
Just put a little bit for the seal.
A dab will do? Well, is that how it just keeps it from? Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the...
You can just use like engine oil too, couldn't you? Or
oh, yeah.
either or.
Let's see.
Lube's important.
This is just me, but I put a very little bit.
Anti-seize?
Just a little. Just to help pull it up. What I found on these big blocks too is if you put some RTV on the inside, so as the crank pulls up, sometimes, every once in a while, you get one that like sometimes bleeds through.
Okay.
But on this one, I'm probably not gonna bother because it's so tight coming off.
I remember, didn't you used to put in the keyway too? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Like in the back of the keyway?
I put up in the front, like kind of in the middle, so when it pulls in, it pushes and it just forms a nice seal.
Fills the hole.
But this being as tight as it was going on, I don't think
Gonna have any issue.
Yeah, it looks like dead on, huh?
Yeah, looks like it's gonna line up pretty good. Talking about this timing mark right here. It'll line up.
It's just a big fat piece of aluminum that I put, I don't use the bearing. I just put anti-seize between the washer and that. Tends to work pretty good.
Just let it slide. Is that?
I'm gonna have to make this fast forward.
Yeah.
That's it.
Boom.
Piston doesn't move.
That's good. Should be dead center then.
Put a dial indicator, but I see close enough.
I say that's definitely close enough. Bada boom. So what's next? Lifters and spider?
No, I'll probably put the heads on first.
Heads? Here's the heads, all assembled with the beehives. Got the lash cap retainers Anti-rotators. Looks good, man. Did you just clean these up, or?
Yeah.
Nice. So here we have the head gaskets. We showed them in the other video, but in case you're wondering, they're off of eBay. James said this is the SKU and the name. It should come up like this.
I would imagine.
It should, or Gen
MLS
6.
that fits Gen 6.
MLS. And we just
Chinese, because they were cheap.
Yeah, and we just spent a bunch of time making sure that they're similar. He had a set of Felpros, and we made sure that everything is legit and does what it's supposed to do. They're a little bit bigger bore, so there's a little bit of space, but we don't think it's going to cause any issues. So these are the ones that we're using. I think he said somewhere in the 30s. So, I mean, it's pretty cheap MLS. They actually don't look bad, so they're going on.
It looks like about 3 layers.
3 layer, yeah, that's what I think, like a middle and then the outer.
Yeah, 3 layers. Everything is stock. As far as the valves, I didn't do any port work on the heads. The only thing is the sharp edges up in here. I just grind them down so it doesn't have that sharp edge pointing in the chamber. My personal preference.
That makes sense.
I did put it's got new umbrella seals. And on the exhaust side, it's probably closer to about 40 thousandths clearance. It's pretty tight with the Crower locks.
Oh, meaning from this hitting that?
Yeah, from the bottom of the retainer hitting the top of the seal.
Okay.
It's real close on the exhaust because it's 527, 544. But the original retainers, you know, made it flush, and these obviously are open. But I want to say they were like 20 thousandths different, even though there are 50 down the way they sit in the retainer. So, but everything measured out, you know, fine to have enough clearance. In the future, what I've done this is the first time I've run a single spring on a set of Vortec heads, and this is probably the 4th Vortec motor now I've played with. I'm gonna go back to doing what I did before, I think, and that is just cut the top of the guide down and run a set of dual valve springs, like a regular generic set.
Okay.
And
just a little easier. Right,
and you eliminate you know, a lot of problems that way. And you know,
possibilities too, if people want to run a different cam, right? Then they start.
You're still stuck on cam as far as lift.
Because 550.
So, but you know, for what these motors are, it's just a great torque, great mid-range motor. And if you put a little nitrous or, you know, some type of a power add-on, you know, I know they've done quite a few of these motors now. That Richard Holder. I don't know how to say it. But in his Carcraft, you know, did hit that little. If you type in like Vortec budget build or whatever.
Yeah.
And you'll see on the videos, not on the video, on the photos, it has this style of lash cap, but they're black.
Ah.
So I messaged him on Instagram asking him what he used. He actually did respond, but like I said in the other video, it wasn't anything that made sense.
Right.
You know, he responded, but it didn't help me in any way. You know, you know. But my disappointment there is if you're going to do a build up like that and show the power it makes, show the problems too.
The little stuff.
Yeah, because obviously you changed them and he put this style in there because they were flush and he had the same problem. But then you call a comp and they say the same thing, and now you just wasted the money on the retainers. Well, they said it should be okay, but me personally, I'm just not comfortable with it. So with this, I'm more than happy because you know
it looks way better than the other picture. I remember when you sent me that picture.
Look, it's not a blue shop towel. It's an old rag.
Hey, wait a minute. I have blue shop towels sometimes when I feel frisky. I heard your lower back give out when you picked that up. My bone. Is this the double hump head?
That's it. I've seen some that didn't have that. They're just
Yeah, we were talking about that when you. I remember.
some have a straight casting and some had them. I think the later ones had them. I don't know. Thread sealant.
Oh, these ones they're not blind, huh?
Nope.
All of them?
Correct.
Okay, good to know.
It seals so good you can't open it.
That should be like the little saying on it. Shit seals so good you can't open it.
Ew.
Old Pat using the impact. What are we doing, 3 cycles?
Yep.
What's first?
I'm going to start at 30.
What's final torque?
75.
All right, making James work his ass off over here. He's sweating. Getting it done. Final torque was 75 on the head. And what'd you do? You do like a triple pass usually, right? Like a single. I mean, your first one's like a little lower, middle. Yep. So yeah, you guys can split it up however you see fit. James is going to finish up the rest of the motor. I got to get to going because it is dinner time. And, you know, I like dinner. So appreciate you letting us come over, man. Check this thing out. Can't wait to get on the stand. I think a lot of people are going to feel the same way. It's going to be really interesting to see what kind of power this thing makes.
Yeah, especially for the money. You know, they're pretty easy to, at least at this point in time, to get a hold of, and they don't bring a whole lot of money. You can get them cheap, and I think for minimal money, you know, cam, springs, you know, throw intake on it, carburetor, distributor, and life's good.
On your way, especially like you were saying, like when we were initially coming with this video, like the guy that has like the Chevelle or something that just wants like a nice powerful motor that you can drive around the street, and just the big block, you know, looks really good in there. And yeah, at this point it's almost something different too, really, because well, it is different because it's a Gen 6, but it's also something different because it's not a LS or it's not a small block Gen 1 or what have you. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up. We'll leave it to Pat here to finish up the video. And if you guys haven't yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. And if you guys want to watch more of this, at least, that's probably a smart thing to do. And we'll be seeing you real shortly for firing this thing up. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace.
just a quick overview on the engine. I got the lifters, push rods, ERP studs, everything torqued down and in. Roller rockers are on, but they are not torqued down, meaning I did not adjust them. I don't want any valve spring pressure on the motor. It's going to sit for about a month and a half. I did check the pattern on the top of the valve for the roller rockers on number 1 intake and exhaust, and they were dead on perfect, right in the middle of the valve. So life is good. And then I ran 2 more backup on a random bank, and on number 5, and same thing. It was good. Intake's on. I put a little oil throughout the valve train, and then these valve covers I'm going to have to run. I can't run the originals just due to the fact that the poly locks stick up too high. I bought these for like $12 from the valve cover lady up at the Phoenix swap meet in Glendale, and they're coming in raw. I like them like this. I just WD-40 them, so they kind of have that original sheen to them, but they're just cheap Chinese ones, but it does the job, and they actually fit pretty good with the stock flat gasket. One thing I kind of was wrong on, I'm going to have to pull this harmonic balancer off, because if you look at it does not have the indentation in here like this one does. But the balance from this to this is different. But after thinking about it last night for a while, I realized that it's kind of brain farting it to death. 90 through like 95 Gen 5 454s are all one-piece rear main seals, and they have the crank with the offset, or those weird counterweights that stick out in the middle. But they're like TBI motors, so they have the regular like accessory belt style. It's a serpentine, but it's not the same as the Vortec. So it actually has that cutoff, and the balance is the same as a Gen 6. It has the cutout in the back. I found one on eBay for $59, and I ordered it last night. So when that comes in, I'll swap them out. And if you kind of look at it, the chain setup in this motor is like the Gen 5 chain that I put on it. It was out of a crate motor, but it's the same thing as the, if you want to call it 91 through 95 Gen 5. So if you want to keep it on the cheap and run the original chain setup, you can, or just replace the chain and keep the gears. But if you put this back in and you keep this balancer, which is the original one, style to the motor, if you're going to run serpentine, it's perfect, and life will go on. If you want to run the original style, like early brackets, like off a Gen 4, which I'm going to do, then you'd have to actually cut the back of grind out that little lip on the pulley, which I don't want to do. And seeing how this thing is kind of cracked and seen better days, I'll just upgrade it, and that way I can put my pulleys on. And this balancer sits in 100 thousandths more because it doesn't have this between the differences of what I put in it and here. So that other balancer will fix that problem and pull it back out. More to come. I'll put the balancer on it, we'll adjust the valves, and we'll stick it on the test stand, and we'll fire it up and see how it runs, what the oil pressure's like, look for leaks, and kind of do a better overview on the way out. I know it gets kind of confusing with who, what, where to run, but if you want to keep it simple, keep the original stuff, use this balancer if you're going to do serpentine. If you want to use early stuff, I would upgrade, put a Gen 5 chain and sprockets in with a Gen 5 harmonic balancer. And the cool thing is it has the same exact cutout in the back, so the balance is going to be the same. And I don't know, you look at online, and some of them say that the aftermarket SFI ones say they'll fit all the way up through, but I don't know, just due to the fact that I took this one down and that one down to the machine shop, and there was 35 grams worth of difference. So to me that's enough to do something about it. Whereas on the flex plate, there was like a 3 gram difference. Okay, I'm good with that. It's the same. So don't quite get it, but there again, the crank is different when you go through 90 up. So That's my spin on it.